Last video, I showed you how I did my wash day process, conditioned, strengthened, and sealed my hair. In today's video, I'm showing you how I proceed with styling it. This very, very rarely changes because I am a very low manipulation natural. I do not allow my hair to remain in its curly state anymore. I used to do it, and every now and again, I will do a wash and go here and there, like maybe once or twice a year, if that. It just really depends. This summer, actually, I didn't do any wash and goes, and I'm actually okay with that. But for now, because I work from home, I keep it very low manipulation. I put my hair up for the most part. I'm going to start this process off with drying my hair. Right now it is wet. So because I'm using the Rev Air, I start with a section about that big. And for the most part, I may do this section and like maybe 3 more sections, but you'll see how I do it. I'm already sealed and moisturized. Now for the Rev Air, I do use the highest heat. It has never caused me any heat damage. And I don't even use heat protectant when it comes to the Rev Air because it doesn't get hot enough to cause heat damage. Now, if you are concerned about that, by all means, use heat protectant. I have fine natural hair and I have never ever gotten heat damage. And I've been using Rev Air for over 5 years. As you can see, that section of hair is dry and is pretty stretched. It's actually pretty straight. But I have to preface this by saying that the back of my hair is definitely a looser curl pattern. So if you have a looser texture, you will find the results are much straighter. I get to the center of my head, which is a little bit more coarse, then that section of hair may not be as straight as this, but it'll be stretched. And that's really what I'm going for. So I'm gonna do the rest of my head, and I'll show you a few more pieces so that you'll see what I mean by this section of hair that's a little bit more coarse. I know some people don't like the word coarse. I don't find that to be a derogatory term. It is what it is. Like it doesn't bother me at all. It's what the hair is, and it's okay. It's just texture. Okay, so for this section, this section might be a little bit, actually, you know what? I probably can do this entire section in the Rev Air, but it is important to note that when you use the Rev Air, some people have remarked that at the end they had knots after they revved their hair, but that's because your hair was not fully detangled. You have to fully detangle your hair when you use the Rev Air. So while I am a finger detangler, when I am using the Rev Air, except for the looser section, because I could just glide my fingers, but the section right here that's a little bit more kinky, a little more coarse, this is the section I have to go in and not just use my fingers, but use a detangling tool to make sure it's fully detangled. So I'm using my Felicia Leatherwood brush for this, and I'm using it in a vertical fashion, not horizontal. So any kind of like tangles that might be in there, I'm getting it all out. It's not really anything tangled. Now I'll go in with the Rev Air. So here's that section. It's still stretched really pretty nicely. As you can see, I don't really worry about getting my roots 100% like straight, straight stretched, whatever you want to call it, because I'm not wearing my hair like this. I'm going to style my hair where I'm going to put tension at the roots anyway. And I will be getting a trim next month, at the beginning of the month, to neaten up my ends. I'm going to get a professional trim. I no longer trim my own hair. It was fun while it lasted, but it's good to have a professional do it because they know what they're doing and they can see it. better. But you know, I used to do search and destroy and just cut off like knots or any kind of split ends that I came across. But the thing with search and destroy method is that while it does get rid of the knot, and you should, you know, clip the knot out to prevent further tangling or knotting, the problem with it is that over time it does tend to make your hair uneven because you're cutting, you know, individual strands, and those individual strands will be shorter than the rest of your hair. I'm going to dry the rest of my hair off camera, this section right here. Actually, I shouldn't have let it get tangled up with the dry section, but I'm going to, you know, dry the rest, and I'll come back and show you my results. So we are all done, and I wanted to tell you something. So you saw how I dried the section down here and then that section up here, and then I did 2 more sections. So I dried this in 4 sections. But on this side, I decided to test something out and see what it would be like if I dried even smaller sections. So now, of course, that does increase the time that it takes to dry, and it took me about 30 minutes to dry everything. But look at the difference. Look at the difference. Now, there may be a little bit of like shrinkage starting to happen here because it's hot, but I think that taking more sections on this side, and I believe I took, let me see, I took 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I took about 7 or 8 sections on this side to dry. And as you can see, much smoother results. So that's just something to bear in mind. Honestly, if you're going to flat iron your hair afterwards, this would be a good thing, but it is like 100 degrees and nobody's trying to flat iron their hair right now. I'm actually going into my low manipulation hairstyle, but before I do, what I'm going to do is add some more kink care to the, you know, to my hair shaft to give it a little bit more strength. I gotta be really careful spraying this oil. First, I'm gonna work it on the perimeter, the top of the head, and then I'm gonna work on the ends. Also, when I get my hair trimmed, I don't think she's gonna have to trim that much, honestly, because I had it last trimmed in February. I'll be getting it trimmed in August. So I'm trying to keep like a 6-month window between trims. So March, April, May, June, July, August. Yes, 6 months. 6 months. And I don't think she's gonna have to trim that much. If you look at it, it's like, it's not terrible. It really is not awful. Now it's time to quote unquote style. And the reason why I say style, because I'm gonna use the word style loosely, because this is not something that like I would say, oh, I'm gonna go out and like, this is my hairstyle. Again, I work from home. So I will go out with the hair like this, but it's not going to be anything that, you know, you would be like, oh, let me do a tutorial for this, because this is literally just getting my hair to a place where it does not shrink back. It does not, you know, start to revert too much. It will revert some at the roots, but for the most part, it's going to, you know, just be contained. So I'm taking this section here, and these are going to be large sections because nobody has time to be doing hair all day when it's hot. So I'm taking this. And because I do like to neaten my edges, especially now that they're gray, I find that when your edges are gray, they can look a little bit kind of like fuzzy and frizzy. And it's just, you know, it may not really be super fuzzy, but because of the color change and I still have dark hair with it, it kind of looks, it gives the illusion that it's like really frizzy. So I'm using this Edge Control by Basque and Leather. I got this on Amazon Prime Day. I've used it one time, and so far I actually like it. So I'm going to use it on my edges, smooth that in, take my edge brush, kind of smooth it in. And this is not like laying edges. This is just smoothing edges. From here, I'm going to cornrow this section. Not cornrow, like, well, I mean, I guess it is a cornrow. And I do this slightly different every time I wash my hair. It really just depends on the mood I'm up for. It could be twists, but I find that braids just last longer. So because it's hot, I don't want as much reversion, so I'm going to braid instead of twist. And as you can see, I don't have as much hair in the front of my hair, at the front of my head. So my braid is not going to be super thick, and that's okay. I'm just gonna braid it to almost the end. And then from there, I'm going to end it with a sort of a twist. More like a twined, like that much. Now I'm going to use my Deanna's Breakthrough Formula. Look at that. It's her it's her end sealant. And I love this product so much. I have 2 bottles of it, 2 jars of it. So I'm just going to smooth that down, take off the excess, smooth that down just so that that stays smooth. And then I'm going to move on to this section in this front. So I'm putting some more edge control, and I might, you know, when I go out, like if I go to work out or something, or if I'm just going out, my hair is up, I will define my edges more. But this is just for the sake of setting the style, and I'm going to keep it this way probably for about a week before I take it down and like maybe re-braid it, remove some shed hairs, whatever the case may be. But because I'm braiding, and braiding lasts way longer, it can stay longer. So notice I didn't start at the very beginning here. There's no rhyme or reason for that. I just didn't. Okay. I'm calling it a cornrow. All the hair is connected in a braids, but you know, cornrow, I realize you hold it overhanded, and I'm going underhanded as I braid. It's just easier to do it this way, and the result is just fine for me. And I do need to borrow hair at the end. It's just the length of my hair, the way it is. But even when you borrow, I know people say, oh, you should not borrow, but the key is to just, when you're taking it down, be careful. And as you can see, it really does keep the edges like pretty neat. All right, so in the back, I'm gonna do, this is the back of my hair. As you can see, it has gotten really full, and I'm actually gonna share with you why I think that is. It's not all product. Well, let's just say it's internal product. I will share that at a later date. The only thing about it being thicker is it's harder to work through. So there's benefits to having fine hair that's also lower in density. It's not too much to manage. But I'm going to part this right here. And my parts don't need to be 100% perfect because you really won't be able to see them once I put my hair up. I want to borrow hair while I'm braiding, so I'm going to clip this. Okay, so this one. Very careful to braid because the hair can retangle, but because it's blown out, it won't tangle as much as if I were trying to do this braid on my hair in its curly state. That's another reason why I like to blow it out. I will do a wash and go maybe one time before the summer ends, probably toward the end of the summer though, because you know, even with a wash and go, it's out, the hair is out and it's hot. So when the weather drops down to maybe like, I don't know, low 80s, then I will throw in a wash and go, and I will record that for you all because I have not done a wash and go video in a long time, like years. Not going to have to cut too much. If I had to guess, it would literally be like a micro trim. All right, so that side is done. While I'm braiding my hair, let's have a little conversation about age appropriate hairstyles. I am 56 years old, and some people may be like, you shouldn't be wearing your hair like that because that's like a little girl style braids. Whatever. First of all, when you start to get older, you start realizing how much you need to be delivered from the opinions of people. It's been so many times when people have said things that were not so nice, and there was like an age-ish sort of discrimination to the comment. I won't go into specifics, but you know what? At the end of the day, at 56 years old, I still have a nice head of hair. So if I want to braid my hair in a way that looks like a child, then that's what I'm going to do. The point being is that don't allow people's opinions to influence how you take care of yourself, how you style your hair, the clothes you wear. I mean, okay, maybe, in certain situations you want to have like age appropriate clothes or whatever. But for the most part, you know what? You have to enjoy your life. Like, enjoy your life. Jesus set you free from the opinions of others. So now I'm going to part this on this side. And I'm going to go into my little triple mirror so I can see that. So I'll be right back. Okay, so I'm going to actually do this section last because I want to do that middle section before I do this section. So I'm going to pin this section up. I'm going to clip it and make this two braids, but let me see. I'm going to split it in the middle. And I'm going to do one on the top and one on the bottom. And this just helps me be able to braid this without struggling to braid it from the top all the way down. I'm going to connect it so that it'll look like it's one braid, but it's going to be two. Ooh, that really hurts the hands, but that is done. And when I go and get my hair trimmed, I'm having her put in some flat twists in the front and some twists in the back because I want it to be a style that actually lasts for a while, and then maybe I can convert it to a twist out depending on how hot the weather is. We'll finish with this bottom section here by connecting this into it in here. And this will be my third section. Finish it off on the side here so I can give my arms a rest. And the final section, this will be the easy one to braid. I'm gonna take this braid, I'm gonna cross it over, and I'm gonna pin it into this braid. I'm gonna go back over this side and pin it into the middle braid as well. And then these two braids, I just let them be. No, I'm kidding. Actually, these two braids, I'm gonna crisscross them and pin them as well, so that everything, this, and this, I take the three of these braids, actually, these three, braid them together, pin it around in a bun, like a bun. This is it. Nothing special, but the hair is protected, and more importantly, it is off my neck. If I'm going outside, and obviously I'm not going to take this down, I could either put on like a little headband, or I could, like I said, define these edges. Right now it's not going anywhere, but you get my point. I would like define my edges, throw on some big earrings, and be done. This is how I'm pretty much doing my hair while working from home. So I don't have to worry about it. I don't have to think about it. I don't have to manipulate it, and it will not get tangled. And this will last me a long time because all I have to do is take my trusty scarf and tie it down at night, and that's the end of it. Or like I said, it's hot and I really don't want anything on my head. What I may do instead of tying my whole head down with the scarf, I may take my edge scarf and just tie my edges down, and that's it. I would not tie my whole head down if it's feeling kind of like too hot for me. But anyway, that's it, guys. Thanks so much for watching. As you can see, this was a very simple, maybe the middle braid wasn't all that simple because it wasn't difficult, but it's challenging, holding your arms a certain way. That is it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. I will catch you in my next video. God bless you, and may He just continue to just work in your life. Whatever challenges and situations that you may have, trust that the Lord God Almighty is sovereign, and that all you need to do is go before Him in humility with a humble heart, asking Him for wisdom for whatever you need, asking Him to touch your heart, to touch your life, to intervene in whatever situation you need Him to intervene in. Anyway, thank you again, because I'm gonna start rambling because that's what I do.